I was the last Wright-Patterson technician inside Vault 17. I know what's down there. Dr. Sarah Chen's hands trembled as she descended the final staircase into Vault 17, her security badge casting dancing shadows in the emergency lighting. 23. Levels beneath Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, the silence pressed against her eardrums like a physical weight. She was the last technician with clearance to enter the vault before the permanent seal would be activated at 0800 hours. The official reports would claim equipment malfunction, bureaucratic oversight, a simple decommissioning of outdated facilities. Sarah knew better. She had been there for the awakening. Her footsteps echoed down the titanium-lined corridor as she approached Laboratory Section C7. The biometric scanner flickered green, and the massive blast door cycled open with a pneumatic hiss. Inside, banks of monitoring equipment hummed quietly, their displays painting the darkness in soft blue light. At the center of the room stood the containment unit, a perfect obsidian sphere, 10 feet in diameter, suspended by electromagnetic fields. Sarah checked her chronometer. 6 minutes until the vault sealed forever. She activated her personal recording device, knowing it would likely be confiscated, but needing to document what she had witnessed. Personal log, Dr. Sarah Chen, Xenobiology Specialist, Wright-Patterson Research Division. Date, March 15, 2157. I am making this record as the sole remaining witness to what we discovered in the Kepler 442b artifact. The sphere pulsed once, as if responding to her voice. Sarah had seen that pulse before, 3 days ago, when everything changed. The artifact had arrived 18 months earlier, retrieved from the ruins of what appeared to be an ancient settlement, on the distant exoplanet. Initial scans revealed it to be composed of an unknown crystalline material with properties that defied conventional physics. The xenobiology team had been ecstatic. First confirmed evidence of extinct alien civilization. They had been so terribly wrong. The breakthrough came when Dr. Martinez suggested using harmonic resonance to analyze the sphere's internal structure. The moment the sonic waves penetrated the outer shell, everything went silent. Not just quiet, absolutely silent, as if sound itself had been suspended. Then came the whisper. Not heard, but felt. A presence touching the edge of human consciousness like fingers trailing through water. Sarah remembered the exact moment when the collective human mind brushed against something vast and ancient and utterly alien. Every person in the laboratory had frozen, their eyes wide with sudden, terrible understanding. The entity within the sphere was not dead. It had been waiting. The first contact lasted exactly 17 seconds. Sarah continued her recording, watching the containment readings. In that time, the entity, we designated it Specimen Alpha, transmitted what can only be described as a data package directly into our neural pathways. We learned that its species had been extinct for over 2 million years, victims of a cosmic catastrophe they called the Silent Dark. But they had prepared. The sphere pulsed again, brighter this time. Sarah's chronometer showed 4 minutes remaining. Before their extinction, the alien race had encoded the consciousness of their greatest minds into crystalline matrices, scattered across the galaxy like seeds waiting for intelligent life to discover them. Each sphere contained not just an individual, consciousness, but fragments of their entire civilization's knowledge, technologies beyond human comprehension, scientific principles that could revolutionize existence itself. But there was a price. The entity had been alone in the darkness for millennia, and its hunger for companionship was overwhelming. During that first contact, 3 technicians had simply collapsed. They remained in medical isolation, their minds seemingly empty, their bodies functioning but their consciousness elsewhere, wherever the entity dwelt. Dr. Martinez had been the 4th. Sarah found him the next morning, standing motionless before the containment unit, his eyes reflecting an intelligence that was no longer entirely human. When he spoke, his voice carried harmonics that human vocal cords should not have been able to produce. "It shows me such wonders, Sarah," he had said, tears streaming down his face. "The birth and death of stars, the songs that gravity sings across empty space, mathematics so beautiful it makes your heart ache. I understand now why they scattered. The seeds. They didn't want to die alone." The military had arrived within hours. Quarantine protocols, memory suppression for the surviving staff. The vault would be sealed, the incident classified beyond the reach of historians. Humanity, the brass decided, was not ready for this kind of contact. Sarah disagreed. 2 minutes remaining, she spoke to her recorder. "What they don't understand is that the entity isn't malicious. It's desperate. 2 million years of isolation have driven it to reach out with too much intensity, too much need. But it's learned. Each time it makes contact, it becomes gentler, more careful with human minds." She pulled out a small device from her pocket, a harmonic resonator she had built in secret, the same frequency that had first awakened the sphere. Dr. Martinez wasn't taken over. He was invited in, and now I understand what he meant about not dying alone. Sarah activated the device, and the obsidian sphere began to glow with inner light. The entity's species left these seeds not to conquer, but to share, to teach, to ensure that when the next cosmic catastrophe comes, and their calculations suggest it will, within the next 1,000 years, intelligence won't die with it. The whisper returned, gentler now, carrying images of technologies that could move. Planets, shields that could deflect stellar radiation, engines that could carry humanity to distant galaxies. Knowledge enough to ensure their species' survival when the silent dark returned. "I am Dr. Sarah Chen," she said, closing her eyes as consciousness expanded beyond the boundaries of her skull. "And I choose to accept their gift." The vault sealed at precisely 0800 hours. The official reports cited equipment malfunction. In the deeper darkness below, 2 minds touched across the void between species, and neither was alone anymore. And humanity took its first true step toward the stars.